Virtual Local Area Networks, or VLANs, are logical networks you can create with switches. When I say logical, I mean that it's all within the switch. There are many reasons to use VLANs. They provide security by dividing networks, allow better performance of the network by shrinking the broadcast domain, and improve network management. There are 6 different types of VLANs that you'll work with. Data VLANs carry user traffic. Voice VLANs are for Cisco phones. Default VLANs are what all ports are normally associated with. Native VLAN is used as a trunk link between 2 switches that support more than one VLAN. The management VLAN is used to manage the switch remotely. And a black hole VLAN is for unused ports. VLAN trunks are ports between switches using the protocol 802.1q. Without VLAN trunks, devices on different switches with the same VLANs would not be able to communicate. Keep in mind, this applies when you have more than one VLAN that will be communicating on 2 different switches. There are specific ranges for these VLANs. The normal VLAN range is VLANs 1 to 1005. VLANs 1002 through 1005 are reserved for things we don't talk about at this level. Keep in mind, VLANs 1 and 1002 through 1005 are automatically created. They cannot be modified, and they cannot be removed. Configuration is stored in a file called VLAN.dat. It is stored in your flash memory. After the normal ranges for the VLANs, we have our extended VLAN range, which are VLANs 1006 through 4094. We don't use these at the scale that we're at. To create a VLAN, type the VLAN command followed by the VLAN ID, which will be a number from the VLAN ranges. If you want to remove a VLAN, simply add no at the beginning, followed by the number that you created. If you wanted to add a name to a VLAN, in the VLAN's configuration, type name followed by the name of your choice. After that, you want to assign an interface a specific VLAN. To do this, hop into the interface configuration and then type switchport mode access. After that, do switchport access VLAN and then the VLAN ID. If you want to remove a VLAN, do no switchport access VLAN followed by the VLAN ID. To configure VLAN communication between 2 switches, go to the interface that is connecting you and the other switch. Once you've done this, do switchport mode access, and then switchport mode trunk. Keep in mind that this has to be done on both ends of the switches. That also means replicating your VLANs on the other switch. On that interface, you'll want to configure a native VLAN with switchport trunk native VLAN followed by the VLAN ID of your native VLAN. After you've done this, you'll want to add the VLANs that are allowed to cross to the trunk port. You can do this with single VLANs or multiple VLANs. If you want to remove trunking, do no switchport trunk allowed VLAN and no switchport trunk native VLAN. When configuring dynamic trunk protocol, you can use these different negotiation modes. This chart will tell you all the details about these modes. Switchport mode dynamic auto will allow the interface to switch into automatic trunking mode. Switchport mode dynamic desirable will attempt to convert links into trunk links. Switchport mode trunk will allow anything except for an access interface to connect as a trunk link. Switchport no negotiate can be used to stop dynamic trunk protocol frames. If you want to see a dynamic trunk protocol configuration on an interface, here are some commands you can use to troubleshoot your VLAN. Some common problems you can run into include native VLAN mismatching, trunk mode mismatching, and insufficient or unnecessary VLANs in the allowed VLANs. You just want to make sure that both switches have the same VLAN configuration. That's it for this episode. In the next one, we're going to go over routing concepts.